When is it too late to start songwriting? And can songwriting actually be learned? Let's talk about it. So first, when is it too late to learn songwriting? When you're dead. If you're alive, which if you're watching this video, you are, it's not too late to start songwriting. And look, I don't care how old you are, here's why you should start if you want to start. First of all, we only have one time to be on this earth and to live and write music. And if you're watching this video because you are on the fence and you're not sure, or you're worried that people are gonna judge you, or maybe you're a grandparent and you're thinking to yourself, what are my grandkids gonna think? They're gonna lose respect for me because they think my voice sounds bad, or whatever your scenario is, I would encourage you, don't listen to any of that noise, but start songwriting. Songwriting, like most arts, is something that is an incredibly satisfying, incredibly fulfilling experience. And chances are you would regret more not writing music than you would writing music. I don't think you're gonna look back and say, oh, I can't believe I wrote that really dumb song. I just should have done nothing. But I can imagine that you might say to yourself, I wish I didn't listen to those internal voices and I just gave it a try. I know I may look young to be talking about this, but the reality is all of us are currently actively making our legacy. For whatever reason, we tend to not think about legacy until maybe it's starting to get pretty late in the game. Now that we're 70 or 80 years old, we think, what is my legacy? Rather than thinking about legacy when it's most important, when we're forming it, because all of us are currently forming our legacy. I don't care if you're 12 or 82, right now your legacy is being created. And to be clear, obviously the most important part of our legacy is our loved ones and what they think of us and how we are as actual people, how our moral character is, how we treat those around us. Yes, of course, that's the most important. But another element of our legacy is how we can create things that actually last. In fact, I have a good friend whose father is getting older, and he's been encouraging his father. He says, Dad, I remember you playing these certain songs on the guitar, and I want to have a recording of you actually playing these songs so I have something to remember you by. And he might not say that last part, but that's sort of the underlying tone, right? Is this idea of, I know you're not going to be around forever. I'd like to have just this one piece that I can show my kids and grandkids and something that I can listen to and remember you. So he's been asking his dad to actually record some decent videos of him playing these songs on the guitar. And this can be something similar for you and I to do, right? We can create music now that in theory can stay around forever. And when you record a song and put it up on the internet, this can be something that can last well beyond your lifespan. You might have great grandkids that get to hear who their great, however many greats I said, grandfather or grandmother was. And I don't know about you, but I think it's really cool to have something to leave behind for those who are around after us. Something else that makes me think of this is actually my grandfather. I forget what his voice sounded like because in his case, he actually had lung cancer and had to have his voice box removed when I was like 5 years old or something. So I actually don't remember what my own grandfather actually sounded like, even though he passed away just a few years ago. And it would be something that would be really cool to be able to have video or audio of him either singing or just talking, anything at all, even if it was a podcast. It would be so cool to have that. So a great way for you to leave that to your kids, grandkids, people who come after you, even people who you may never meet because they'll be your great grandchildren. If you want something that they will be able to get to know you just a little bit, writing songs and actually recording them can actually be a great way to have that legacy. And on the second point, can songwriting be learned? As long as you are a human being who's capable of emotion and is willing to access some of your emotions, some of your feelings, and maybe even access some of the more uncomfortable parts of your past or some of the more uncomfortable things that you've gone through, that is all you really need. Sure, music theory helps, and I'm huge on music theory. I think it's very important. And sure, there's a bunch of hard skills to learn, but at the end of the day, if you have the will to write music, you certainly can learn those things along the way and even start writing music before you learn some of those things. And look, I have a whole channel here dedicated to teaching songwriting, so if you are interested in learning something about songwriting as you start your songwriting journey, be sure to subscribe here. Go check out the podcast. It's called the Songwriter Theory Podcast, and I would be happy to join you on your journey. So hopefully this was helpful to you, or hopefully it was inspirational for you. Hopefully if you were on the fence, I have convinced you to actually take the dive. And if you do want to actually take the dive, be sure to pick up my free guide on 10 different ways to start writing a song. It's really targeted towards people who don't really know where to start, and also targeted towards people who have maybe done some songwriting but tend to write songs the same way every time, because it's really important as a songwriter to break outside of your shell and not just write songs from the same standpoint, because if you write songs from the same standpoint, from the same process, well, sometimes your songs might actually start to sound the same. So regardless of whether you're new to songwriting or if you are a seasoned vet, be sure to pick up that guide. It's at songwritertheory.com/free guide. And if you don't, but at least this inspired you to songwrite, that's okay with me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being somebody that wants to learn songwriting at least enough to have watched this video and contemplate, should I should I not? And even if you never watch another one of my videos again, that is totally okay. But please, 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 if you're on the fence, do write songs. It's not too late. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.